Are we live? I think we're live. I think we're live. Just wait for some of you to appear in the chat. Let's have a little look on there. Let's have a little looky on here. Okay, we are live. Well, hello. It has definitely been a while since we last had a chat. It's been what, over a year, I think? I don't even know when my last video was, to be honest. When was my last video? Let's have a look on the channel. It's been a very long time. Where are we? Yeah, over a year ago. It's definitely been a while. A lot has happened in the years since we last had a little chat. A lot has happened. So we do need to have a little chat and have a little catch up. Just wait for a few people to join. Smoke Nando's, hello. Hello. How are you? Oh, it has been a very long time. A very long time indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Over a year since we last had a little chat. Yes, Smoke Nando's, that's what we're going to talk about today. A lot has changed. So, where have I been? Well, I'm still on the buses, but I'm no longer with Stagecoach as of the 27th of February. I left Stagecoach and I'm going to a new company. It's been a rocky year with me in Stagecoach. It's been a rocky year. It's not been the best end to our relationship, let's just put it that way. It's been, yeah, we left on bad terms. Very bad terms. I will talk about that. I'll wait for a few more people to get in here and we can have a little talk about why I left Stagecoach, but I have left. You are right, Smoke Nando's. Go ahead, it is. You can probably guess why. Yeah. You can probably guess why I'm going to go ahead. But no, okay, we've got a few more people in here, so I'll get into it. Basically, I did a video over a year ago now, saying I was going to the Commonwealth Games. Yep, you're right, let's Smoke Nando's, obviously. You just take that out there. But yeah, basically, I was asked to go to the Commonwealth Games. Obviously, as you guys know, I did apply to go because I wanted to go. It's obviously an opportunity. You can't really turn down an opportunity like that. Lee, hello, good to see you. But you can't turn an opportunity like that. It's you're getting to take part in something, once in a lifetime kind of opportunity, really, isn't it? For a young guy like me who's into buses, it's a great opportunity. But I never got asked to go when everyone else was asked to go. I was put on what's known as obviously standby. So obviously, if anyone dropped out or couldn't come, I would take their place basically. And they gave me less than 24 hours notice to go up to Birmingham. So I was doing them a massive favour. Now, bearing in mind, there was a little bit of harassment into going, purely because I'm driving the 161s. That was my rotated route as Stagecoach. And I'm having the controller call me up, asking me, well, we've got your management on the phone. They wanted to know if you wanted to go to the Commonwealth Games. And obviously, at the time, it's not safe for me to discuss an issue like this because I'm driving a bus, of up to 100 people. I can't really talk about this until, I'm in a safe location. You know, on that particular trip, I was coming off my break anyway, so I just said, look, I'm coming off my break now. I'll talk with management when I come off the bus. So he was like, okay, I'll let them know. And that's what they did. And then maybe about 2 minutes later, controller calls me again and says, look, they need an answer now. So I said, all right, look, I'll say yes just to get them off my back, and I'll talk to them when I get back to the garage. Because I think I had over an hour break, so I just got on a bus back to the garage from Woolwich, and I spoke with management about it. Now, the one condition I had was, obviously I don't mind because I don't have any commitments. You know, I don't have like my own family, if that makes sense. I don't have kids or anything like that. So I didn't have anything that I needed to be here for. In not in a bad way, but in terms of I've got no like real responsibilities. You know, I'm a young guy. I'm 22 years of age, so I didn't need to really worry about staying here. So I was like, yeah, you know, why not? I'll go for it. I'll go for it. But I said the one condition was I can only go up in the afternoon as I'm doing something in the morning. So the garage manager was like, yeah, okay. You know, I'll let them know and they'll sort you out a ticket for the afternoon. So I was like, okay, cool. So I go out for my second half and I get an email from Stagecoach on my phone about, you know, a ticket confirmation. And what do? They buy me a ticket for the morning. The one thing I asked for was to go up in the afternoon as I had something planned in the morning. And they couldn't even do that right. So I called the garage manager and said, look, I said I can only go up in the afternoon. That's what me and you agreed. And he's like, yeah, I know. I'll talk to them. When was the Commonwealth Games? It was last year in July, June or July last year. Off the top of my head. So they sorted out a ticket. You know, obviously I packed my things that night, and the next morning. So by this point, I want to stress this, I still did not know where I'm staying, who's in charge, who's my line manager, you know, all these things you need to hear, like you need to know before you go, right? So I don't know who's in charge, I don't know who's like my manager, you know, who I report to when I'm there, I don't know where I'm staying, you know, it's like, are they just they're just expecting me to get to the train station and just figure it out. That's kind of the vibe I was getting from it all. So obviously I spoke to my garage manager. I was like, look, I still don't. They have not said anything to me. They've not told me where I'm staying. They've not told me what to do when I get to the to Birmingham. Am I just meant to wait at the train station for someone to pick me up? I don't know. You know, I'm assuming they know that I'm coming and all that stuff. So obviously I got the garage manager to, you know, get him to get in contact with them, and they eventually sent me an email telling me like, okay, you need to go to this location when you get to the train station. This is the pickup point, like the ferry pickup point, where someone will come down in a car and pick you up. So I was like, okay. They gave me 3 phone numbers. So at this point, I'm on the train going up to Birmingham, and they have, yes, I'm on the train, probably about an hour, like half an hour to an hour out around there, and I thought, okay, do you know what? I'll start calling the numbers to get the ferry sorted out. You know, obviously I need to tell them what time I'm arriving so they can be there to pick me up and things like that. Every time I'm calling those 3 numbers, it's going straight to voicemail. Every single time. And I'm just like, oh god, don't do this. So I continuously calling. I must have called these 3 numbers individually probably 100 times, and still no answer. By this point, I'm now at Birmingham train station. So I'm now in an environment that I don't know because I've never been to Birmingham before. You know, I don't know. I don't even know the name of the hotel or the accommodation we're staying at. All I have is a Google Street View image of where I'm meant to be to get the ferry car and 3 different phone numbers to call to get someone to pick me up. And it's just going straight to voicemail every single time. So I've probably been in Birmingham for about an hour and a half, and by this point still no answer. So I've now had to make a judgment call of what to do. So what do I do now? Do I, you know, keep trying? You know, by this point it's starting to get dark. So do I keep trying? Do I just, you know, find a hotel and just stay the night and then try it in the morning? Or do I just say, do you know what? I'm going home. I chose to go home because I thought, do you know what? I'm not putting up with this. You know, I've done them a favour, going up less than 24 hours notice, and they've decided to just screw around and not even provide me with the basic information, you know, of what I need to do when I get to Birmingham. And they, you know, I mean, they couldn't even organise a ticket properly. So I'm just like, do you know what? I'm alright, you know. So I ended up going home the same day. So I've been on trains for about 6 hours, paid for my own ticket. I made sure they reimbursed me for that ticket because it's their mistake. And yeah, did they get pissed off? No, they did not. And this is where it comes to the end of the story. So I get back, so I'm on the train home, and I thought, you know what, I'll try the phone number one more time. By this point, the train has left, so obviously it's it's too late. So I thought, you know what, I'll try one of the phone numbers one more time. And what happens? They pick up the phone. Um, Too late. You had your chance. Do you know what I mean? And then I got a message. We have a company app. It's kind of like a intranet Facebook kind of app. We can talk to anyone within the company. We can even send a message to the CEO if we really wanted to, because he's on there. Not that he would read it, but there you go. But one of the managers who come up from Hastings, sent me a message. I won't name her, obviously. And she said, like, yeah, I'm just checking you got to the hotel, alright? If you haven't, please get a taxi to this address, and we'll reimburse you for the taxi fare. I sent her a paragraph just saying, look, you had your chance. Like, you can't organise a piss up in a brewery, clearly. So I'm on the train home and I'm not coming back. See ya. They didn't do anything. I didn't receive, like, obviously disciplinary action. Not that that would ever happen anyway, because I'm doing them the favour. The union wouldn't allow that anyway. I would not get disciplined for that because it's their cock up, not mine. You know, I was there, you know, and they couldn't be bothered. So I go into work the next day because obviously I'm not up there anymore. And the garage manager pulls me in and is like, look, I'm really sorry for what happened. That's just absolutely disgraceful. I've sent an email to the committee people who are running the operation to say like how you've been treated. And I thought, do you know what? He's been in my corner the entire time, which is very rare for management to do so. But you know, I'll give credit where it's due. Management were on my side that day, and no apology, no apology from the company. Not even some PR crap. You know, nothing. Yeah, no apology. So from that moment on, I just was me and the company just weren't there anymore. The relationship had just fallen apart there, you know, because I just think no one deserves to be treated like that. You know, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I got paid well for that day. I did get paid well for that day, just for sitting on trains all day, so I'll take that. But no one should be treated like that. At the end of the day, I'm doing them a favour, and you know, I wanted to go because it'll be a great experience, but you know, it was not a good day. Um, so it's their loss. You know, I went back to work and did what I love, driving the 161s. It's a great route to drive. But yeah, just from that point on, me and management and the company just kind of fell off, and it got to a point where I just hated working there and I wanted to leave, and that's what I've done. I mean, I'm going to go. My first day at Go Ahead is on the 27th of March, so having a little bit of a break before I go back to work, just to enjoy myself. It'll be Bexley Heath, Nando's. Be going Bexley Heath. That's my local garage. I wanted to Go Ahead in the first place. Stagecoach wasn't really the first choice I wanted because Go Ahead in Bexleyheath is closer to my house. It's within walking distance, so I wanted to go to Bexleyheath originally, but they weren't hiring at the time for Bexleyheath, so I chose Stagecoach. But yeah, so start guide at the end of this month, which will be really cool. Be really cool. Obviously, you bus nerds know about Guide, so it's a fair amount more money, which is always nice. I know loads of drivers nowadays that are Guide. Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of ex-Stagecoach drivers that go ahead now, especially at Modern Wharf Garage. I've seen at least 5 or 6 of former Stagecoach drivers that have gone over there. A lot of them have gone for the money. That's the real truth about it. It's a lot more money at Go Ahead because you do longer duties than Stagecoach, so it's a lot more money. And obviously with the £2,000 welcome bonus, it's a real incentive. No, I didn't get fired, Pappy. I quit. I left the company of my own free will. Just didn't want to work there anymore. Basically, it's just what happened at the Commonwealth Games. You should be able to scroll back through the video and you can listen to the story. It's a long story. What route do you want to go on? It's a toss-up. It's 3 routes I really want to do, and that's the 132, the 51s, or the 486s. They're the 3 main routes I want to do, but the brilliant thing about Bexleyheath's garage is that there's a lot more variety than there is at Plumstead. What you got to remember about Plumstead, it's all double-deckers, all high frequency. Yeah, I'm still a bus driver. Pappy, I'm still a bus driver. You might see me on the 132. Hey, you never know. You never know. There's a lot more variety at Bexleyheath. You've got single deckers, you've got double deckers, you've got high frequency, you've got low frequency. So there's a lot more variety. Yeah, it also has night duties. That's right. Yeah, you got the 321s. I think the N321s and 89s. Yeah. I know sometimes the N21s have their base of operations at Bexleyheath. Sometimes, not all the time. I know they come from New Cross. I know the buses come from New Cross, but I think so. I think they do have their breaks at that Bexleyheath garage. Yeah, it'd be nice. It'll be a lot better for me. I mean, again, they offered me a lot more money, a lot more than what I was earning at Stagecoach. So obviously, can't really go wrong with that. But I do have some stories from Stagecoach. I do have a lot of stories. I don't think I ever said this on a video, but I was doing the 161s, as you know. It was my route. It's my baby. I love that route. Apart from having my breaking woolage, I don't like that bit, but it's a great route. Going down Welwell Road in just coming up to Eltham Station, and these 2 lads get on. They must be in their 30s, 35, and they get on with some alcohol. They didn't try to hide it. I mean, they were pretty drunk already. So I said to them, look, I've seen the alcohol. You got to get rid of it. You know, you got to get rid of it. It's plain and simple. I've seen the alcohol, and start getting abuse as bus drivers do. Get abuse, get told who I am and what I am, and I simply said, look, carry on, and the engine will go off, and the police will be called. And as people do, they go, yeah, call the police then. So I called their bluff. I called the police, and I then get spat at multiple times. Multiple times I got spat at. Yeah, most drivers do ignore it, but you know, at the end of the day, the law's the law. You're not allowed alcohol on a bus. It's just the way it is. You know, because if, God forbid, an inspector gets on and they see that you've let someone on with alcohol, you're the one that's going to get in the shit. So I'm just, protecting myself there. I've said, look, not allowed. It's not allowed at all. Every passenger knows this. Smoking, e-cigarettes, alcohol, they're the 3 biggest things that are not allowed. So I got spat at multiple times, and And I just found it hilarious. And all they wanted to do was to go up to Eltham High Street. You pretend you didn't see it? Nah, not me, mate. It's not me. Nah. I don't play around with alcohol. I don't play around with that. No. Don't allow that stuff. So I got spat at, and I just said, cheers, mate. You've now cut my day incredibly short, because now I got to drive out of service back to the garage to get the bus cleaned. So I was pretty happy with that. Obviously, if you know, you know, we have spit kits in the cab, because it happens more often than you'd like to admit. So obviously, took a swab, and I did send it off to the police. They did arrest the offender, which was always good. I do believe he has been banned from TfL completely, so he's not allowed to use TfL services at all anymore. He did get off with a caution. It's more like I think he said they called it a Home Office approved scheme, so he's not allowed to do it again. If he does, he'll be arrested and things like that. But at the end of the day, you got to stand up to these people. At the end of the day, it's my bus, my rules. If you don't like it, you can always wait for the next bus. But at the end of the day, every driver knows alcohol is not allowed. It's just not allowed. And there's a reason for that. And people need to understand that that's the way it is. I wasn't too fussed about the fare, because, at the end of the day, I'll always do an SMS text message to TfL to let them know about fare evasion, and they can deal with that. Obviously, I'll always protest to people that you need to pay your bus fare, because at the end of the day, it's the way it is. London Training Transport Industry Vibes, hello, welcome, long time no see. But yeah, it's a little story. That was the 14th of August last year. I'll always remember that day. I think that was a Sunday duty I was doing that day. Yeah, I didn't have to do the rest of that duty. I went home after that, so I only did about 3-4 hours of that duty, and they wrote off the mileage for the rest of the day. I know, it has been a long time. It has been a long time since my last videos, over a year ago now. Obviously, as most of you know about Go Ahead, they're very strict when it comes to what you can say, what you can't say, what you can show, and what you can't show. So I do want to get back into videos. I have missed it a little bit. I have missed it. What my average duty hours I like to do. I would like to try and get onto high earners kind of rotas. So do fairly long duties, average about 10 hours, I'd say. I'd probably do about 10 hours, because with the pay rate that I'm going up to, it is a very good amount of money. So that would definitely help me. Extra money is extra money at the end of the day. So if I can do a little bit extra, I'm up for that. I mean, overtime is good pay at Go Ahead. If you know about that sort of stuff, it's good pay. So doing rest days and things, it's definitely good. Does he work the same as Stagecoach? From what I heard, it is like sign on, sign off. I've not signed the contract yet. I've not signed it yet. I don't sign it until I join on the 27th of March. I've had the medical. I had the medical at Camberwell, their training centre. I think about 2-3 weeks ago. So we had that done, and they offered me the job there and then. So it was all good there. Rap group shortage, yeah. I know rap group are definitely short. Hello Ross, good to see you again, sir. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I can walk to work now, so I save a lot of money on petrol and things. Be nice. But it would just be nice to drive a single decker again, It'd be nice to have a single decker route to drive. Obviously they just picked up the B13s as well. They've got these single decker BYDs with the LED displays, which are definitely interesting to drive. Driving the electrics, they're not my favourite to drive. I have done a few duties on the 180s at Stagecoach, so obviously I have got a bit of experience driving the electrics. I mean, they're smooth, 100% smooth, much better braking and acceleration. As you know, if you're a long time subscriber, you know I don't like Volvos. Mainly the Alexander Dennis bodied Volvos, the ones that are at Stagecoach. They're terrible buses to drive. Do you like the 180s as a route? It's much better. I always said to drivers while I was there, because it's been rumoured for the rumour was for years and years and years. You know that the 180s and the 472s were going to change. I mean that rumour's been, oh yeah, God, years and years. I always said when we got told we were getting the 180s, I always said if they ever change it to Erith to North Greenwich, it's definitely a route that I wouldn't mind doing. It's a good route to drive. You get slammed with the school kids at Harris Academy, but apart from that, for the rest of the day, it's not too bad. What do you think about Abellio? I don't know much about Abellio. It's not from the region that I live in. Obviously, that's more Peckham Way and things like that. Obviously, you got the garage opposite Go Ahead in Camberwell. But I'm happy for the drivers. They got an 18% pay rise. That's a good win for bus drivers. Definitely a good win. So this has got changed a lot more reliable, which is good. Yeah, it's definitely more reliable. It definitely is more reliable. You feel bad for Rap Group? I mean, I don't know a lot about them, so I can't really say anything. But yeah, so I live around South East. Yeah, I'm from South East London. Me and Mike are from the same region of the country. Both live in South East London. I'm more Cockney than he is, but you know, he hasn't got that Cockneyness about him like I do. But yeah, I mean, I will miss Plumstead. It was a good garage. Like the drivers, I've made a lot of friends at Stagecoach. I won't deny that. I do have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends at Bromley Bus Garage, and obviously Plumstead. Still working at Stagecoach? No, I left on the 27th of February, and I'm joining Go Ahead on the 27th of March. So if you want to know about the story, you should be able to scroll back through the video and you can listen to the story. It's a long story to go back into. But basically the short story is fell out with management and the company, and I just didn't like working for them anymore. But I do want to say I don't want to discourage people for working at Stagecoach. Obviously, just because I had a bad experience doesn't mean you will have a bad experience if you choose to join. Always give them a fair shot, you know. But for me, just wasn't the company that was right for me in the end. I will miss the 96. It's a great route. It's a great route, the 96. It's a route that I will miss. It's got long duties. I mean, there are some duties where you have the longest is 11 hours, 11-hour duty where you get that 3-hour break. So that's a good duty. Start making videos again. Go Ahead. I will speak to, when I eventually meet management, I will speak to them and see what I'm allowed to get away with, because obviously I don't want to get on their bad side when I've just joined. But I'll definitely speak to management about what I'm allowed to talk about, what I can't show, and things like that. 161 row, were the duties good? The thing about the 161s is you don't get long breaks. You get pretty much, it's like especially in the mornings, if you're doing early duties, you very rarely get over an hour. Most of the time it's 50 some odd minutes. So if you get stuck, you're more likely to have a late meal relief. So what that means is when you have a late meal relief, the controller will terminate a bus at Woolwich, and he'll instruct the driver to park the bus up at the bus stand, and then I take that bus from the bus stand and continue when I've had my break. That's the only annoying thing, is a lot of the time the breaks are short. In terms of the duty length, I don't think there ever was a duty that was longer than 10 hours. I don't even think there was a 10-hour duty on the 161s. I think the most was like 9 hours 50, something like that, and that was normally on the weekends because there's less buses on the road. But they were good. You do get a lot of running time when you're running to North Greenwich because they give you normally 10-11 minutes to get from Queen Elizabeth Hospital to Woolwich Arsenal Station. So that normally helps with if you're running late, getting through Shooters Hill and things like that in the morning. You've got that extra 10-11 minutes to get through, so you're not really late. What garage I'm going to be Bexley Heath. I am in negotiation in terms of my contract. I don't want to move around to other garages. I just don't really want to because I do hear a lot about Go Ahead moving people around willy-nilly, and I don't really want that because Go Ahead is the garage I want to work at. Go Ahead is the garage I want to. Bexley is the garage I want to work at. I don't really want to work anywhere else. I just want to reserve the right to move when I want to, and I don't want to just be chucked around. So we're kind of in talks about that. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be really good. It is going to be good. But I'm just glad they don't have the 177s at Go Ahead, because that is the one route I will not miss. I will not miss that route. MJ Rim, hello. How's bus driving going? Good. I've got a month off at the moment, moving to a new company, so looking forward to it. Yeah, 177 is the worst route at that garage, by far. I will not miss that route one bit. 472, I never got to drive the 472s the way they are now. I never relearned the route. I do hear a lot of drivers do enjoy it now, which is good. Obviously that's good, you know, making the drivers happy is very good, because I know it was in newspapers. Some editor said it was like one of the best routes, or something like that. I can't remember the name of the newspaper. I think it was an online newspaper, not like the Metro or anything like that. But yeah, I never went out on loan at Stagecoach, and I think that was kind of a mistake that I made because I did want to go to Bromley for a little bit. I always have people at Bromley say to me that you should come over for a little bit. They always want me to go on the 314s because it's their favourite route at Bromley. I almost did. I almost was thinking about it, but the communication with management just broke down to the point where I didn't want to be there no more. I wasn't enjoying it, and it's not. And when you're in that kind of state, when you're driving a bus, it's not safe for passengers because I'm now in a state of mind where I don't want to be here, and I'm just going to be driving very dangerously and things like that. You obviously don't want to be in a mindset like that when you're driving a bus. I think you'll enjoy the 132. Yeah, 132 is a piss easy route. Everyone and their nan knows the 132 bus route. I can literally drive it with my eyes closed, and I've not been on the route. As a passenger, I've not been on the route in about 2 years, and I still know the route off by heart. You know, it's such an easy route. It's a straight line, really. Only downside to that route, it gets very, very busy when you have an event on the O2. You just get slammed with people. That's the only downside. But that's with every route at North Greenwich. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. You know, when you got thousands of people going to a concert or whatever, it's just the way it is. The only downside is you don't really get a lot of station staff there helping you out. You kind of have to wait patiently for them to help you out. 486 is good. Yeah, 486 is good. Go through Welling and then the hospital. There you go. Will be happy with you showing their logo. Yeah, I mean, I'd never badmouth them. No way. Yeah, Anton and Chris. Yeah, I know Anton and Chris. I know Chris works at Orpington, so you never know if I ever will go to Orpington. I might see Chris. But whenever I'm at the company, I never badmouth them. Even when I was making videos with Stagecoach, I never badmouth them in my videos because obviously they pay my wages. I'm not gonna sit there and badmouth them to thousands of people on the internet. It's not a good thing to do. It's a breach of contract at the end of the day. So, but yeah, like I said, I'll talk to management about it and see what they will allow me to do. Yeah, New Cross does a lot of nights. Yeah, a lot of nights. I know. Yeah, the 321s. 321s aren't a bad route to be honest. 321s are pretty good. If I was to go to New Cross, if they really wanted me to go to New Cross, that'd probably be the only route I'd do out of New Cross. That'd be my only condition to going over to New Cross, is I would only want to do the 321s. It's a very good route to do, and it's very close to home as well for me. It's probably about 5 minute walk to where they terminate in Footscray. How old am I now? I'm 22 years old. I'm 23 in October this year, so I'm an old man now. There's some 321 late duties. They're crosslink. Yeah, I knew about that. Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice to do the 321s. It'll be nice to drive a different variety of bus as well, because I've never driven a right body Volvo before, so it'd be nice to drive them, because I came in just after um, the right body buses at Plumstead came out of service, um, and yeah, I came in just after that. It's like a year or so after that, I think, and obviously all the ALX for 400s got phased out eventually. So I almost got to train in an ALX 400 at Stagecoach. Almost got to train in one, but they were phased out at that point. 36. See, I don't know a lot about the 36. I know it goes to Queen's Park, but I'm not too familiar with that area. It's not my area. But Queen's Park is a nice place. I have been there a couple of times on the Bakerloo line. It's a nice place. Try ruling in the N89. Ooh, yeah. N89s, man. The night routes go very far. They go very far. I did watch a guy on YouTube who filmed the N89 and the N21s. N21 isn't too bad. N21's not that bad, to be fair. I wouldn't mind doing that. Seems like a good route, to be fair. But it'll be weird. It will be weird seeing my Stagecoach brothers and not being from the same company anymore. That made any sense. It will be nice though. I think the thing is, it's good to have a change every now and again. It really is. Yeah, I mean, all night routes are fast paced because you got a strict timetable to keep to. Because I never did. I never did the N53s or the 472s. I never did any of that. Obviously, the M53s goes to Whitehall. My dad used to drive the 53s when he was at Plumstead. I've been on the route a couple of times when it used to go to Whitehall. It's a good route, but he did it when they took cash. So it's a long day. It's a long day. I mean, could you imagine doing the 96 at Bluewater at Christmas time when they took cash? You'd be there for ages. You wouldn't leave. Should have done the M53. Yeah, it's very hard to get a duty on that because obviously there's so little buses. They don't need a lot of drivers. Traffic heavy around Hyde Park. After that, it's alright. Yeah, yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I never took interest in the 53s purely because it's a high earner for the company, so you have to know what you're doing before you go on that route. It's just the way it is, because it's a very valuable route. They only allow certain people to be on it, so you can't go on that route until after you pass your probation, which is a year. because they used to put people on there and they would just have accidents all the time. So they stopped doing that. But I would have preferred to do the 53s over the 122s. The 122s just nah. Then it wasn't a good. It's not a good route in my opinion. It's just not good. Hello, Censored Phantom Z. How are you? Yeah, I've been busy, man. I've been busy. Been very busy. But yeah, it's weird that it's been over a year since my last video. I don't even know what my last video was. What was my last video? My last video was overtime on the 422. Yeah, I will miss the 422s. Yeah, I literally was just saying that. The 422s, I will miss that route. If it came back to go ahead, I'd definitely do that. I treat Chris like a brother as I have MS. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. Sorry to hear you have MS. 4 employees stagecoach were really good with me when I couldn't work on. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm glad you had a good relationship with Stagecoach. I'm annoyed I didn't. I'm annoyed I didn't have a good relationship. But I'm sorry to hear you have MS, mate. It's not good. I mean, my dad has terminal cancer, so it's it's tough. It's tough. What's the worst route you've done other than the 177? Ooh. See, I'm very lucky. I got to pick and choose very carefully my routes. I'd probably say the Amazon routes are on par with being the worst routes out of Plumstead. The Amazon routes are terrible. Amazon routes are completely terrible. It's just people on there just, I get they got work and that, but I mean half of them don't have a ticket when they should have a ticket, obviously, because the way it worked was it was run by First Group. Now all you bus nerds will know who First Group are. It was run by them, and then so they pay the ticket to them, but we are contracted to do the route, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like how TfL do it. We work for them, they contract it out to us, and things like that. It just wasn't good. It was obviously it's low frequency, but they give you too much time, so you end up sitting at bus stops for maybe 4+ minutes, and obviously you can't leave until your time because just in case someone obviously needs that bus to get to work. So it was frustrating, and I'm glad I got rid of those from my route knowledge. I never had to do them again. Same with the 177s. I got that removed from my route knowledge completely, so I never had to do them. So I only ended up having 96, 161, 42, and 180s on my route knowledge. So I did all the good routes basically. 42s are the best though. They're up like that and the 96 are the two best routes out of that garage in my opinion. If the 161 didn't have their brakes in Woolwich, I'd be up there as well. Let's have a look at the chat, see what everyone is saying. Yeah. No, I don't drive buses at Stagecoach anymore. I'm going to go ahead at the end of the month. Did I ever do standby? Yes, I have done standby before. It's a very easy day. They called me once. They called me maybe 30-40 minutes before the duty was due to start. Like due to take over the bus. I was like, "Can you come in and do it?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay," because I didn't live that far away. In a car, it was all right. And they only wanted me to do. I think it was. I think it was literally just running to Bluewater, then running out of service back to the garage, and I'd be standby for the rest of the night. I think that was it. And literally, I didn't have to do anything. I just sat in my car, had food for the entire evening, so it was a blast. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Ross. Yeah, that's a bastard. Standby duties, yeah. I mean, they normally are a fixed length. They're normally 8 hours, something like that. Earlys, middles, or lates? Earlys. I love my earlys. I love finishing, 2 o'clock in the afternoon and having the rest of the day to do nothing. Especially if you get a 96 has a few good duties actually. There's a duty where you're doing 5 o'clock in the morning start and you finish just before 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So I think it was like 11:40, 45, something like that. You finish. 161 has two good duties. The first bus, so the first duty, you finish at 12:13 in the afternoon, and duty number 6, so 456, as it's known as, you finish at 12:43. So even though you're the sixth driver to sign on that day, you're actually the second driver to finish for the day, which is interesting. A lot of people go ahead. Trainers from Bromley are moving to go ahead. Yeah, it's just better working conditions, really, more money and things like that, and that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Hope Stagecoach doesn't remove from London like first bus. Stagecoach won't. They're one of the big five. They won't be going anywhere. They make a large portion of the percentage of bus routes in London. They won't be going nowhere. I mean, they're the biggest operator in the UK, and London. Obviously they're one of the biggest in London. Obviously, Go Ahead is the biggest in terms of the amount of routes they control, but Stagecoach is up there. They are up there. Stagecoach won't move. No way. First bus are declining. They really are declining in my opinion. They're becoming smaller and smaller. So I'd probably say the big three obviously are Stagecoach, Go Ahead, and Arriva. My dad works for Arriva. Would you ever want to go on an early only rota? It depends on the duties, really. I do like finishing very early. I do love that, but it's a case of it really does depend on the length of the duties. If the duties are pretty long, like 9+ hours on average, then yeah, probably. Again, I'll have to poke my nose in and see what they have available, because I reckon they'll put me on either the 51, the 132, or the 486. I don't think they would put me on a single decker route. But I'm not going to complain about that. I mean, the 51 is a great route. Waking up at 4 a.m. Nah, it's easy work, easy work. I don't mind waking up early, just because I know I'm going to finish nice and early. So I'm okay with it, to be honest. But I would love to do the 51s. I would love to do the 51s because everyone at Plumstead who used to do the 51s before they left always said how good the route was, and I do like the 51s. Once you get out of Plumstead Common, well, it's lovely. It's a lovely route. Going into Welling, then go to the Oval and that. Yeah, first one of the biggest sold the garages to go. Yeah, that's the thing nowadays, is that there's so many companies in London. They all just merge with each other. I mean, take a look at Stagecoach. They've acquired Tower Transit and HCT, I think it was, wasn't it? For obviously the later the shifts about. Yeah, a lot of people like lates. A lot of people like lates. I just don't really like finishing, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, because then I'm asleep for most of the day and it's just boring. But yeah, I mean, Stagecoach are the same, Hassan. Obviously they got Tower Transit and HCT or CT Plus. I don't know if they're the same. I don't actually know. But yeah, they've been spending a lot on acquisitions. No late rower. I don't really know. I don't think there's a late only rota. I think they only really do it in special circumstances. So it has to depend on your circumstances really, because you can do early only's rota, but again it depends on your circumstances. They don't just give it out to people for the hell of it, because they see it as obviously the needs of the business comes first, which is fair enough. Yeah, they bought Lee Interchange. Yeah, Lee Interchange indeed. Lee Interchange indeed. Are you going on holiday? Nah, just staying at home, catching up on stuff. To be honest, just enjoying, just enjoying the peace and quiet. No people abusing me on a daily basis. Then they merge Westbourne Park Tower Transit Garage with Wrapped. Oh, okay. Well, you missed that fast route at Thamesmead. I'm assuming. I want to say the 472 you're talking about. I don't know if that's what you're talking about or not. I'm not too sure about that one. That's the only fast route that comes out of Thamesmead, to be honest. Not that it stops through Thamesmead, doesn't terminate at Thamesmead anymore. It's Abbey Wood now. Oh, how long have you... Bloody hell, you've been listening to me for 51 minutes now. I suppose you haven't got bored yet. Yeah, 472, yeah. I never did... I mean, I used to do the 472 when it terminated at Thamesmead. I never did it when they changed it to Abbey Wood. Obviously, I've said before, a lot of drivers say it's a lot better. They get a lot more stand time now. 11 to 12 hour duties at Plumstead. There wasn't a lot. It was mainly on the 53s and the 96s. I can't remember if the 122. I think the 122s have a few 10 hours, but mainly the 53s, purely because you do the school buses as well. You do the 601 and the 602s, so you do have a lot more longer duties. So on there it would be 2-3 hour breaks in between. So you do like a round on the 53, have your break for 2-3 hours, and then you take a bus and do the school run. And the 96 is a spread driver's paradise. You know, there's a lot of long duties on there, so you make a decent amount of pay if you do rest days. Would you ever consider going to a West London garage? Honestly, probably not. Or East. It depends where the garage is. It honestly depends where the garage is, in all honesty. I plan to work at Wrapped in Chiswick. Okay, sounds good. See, I always call them Wrapped. I know it's RATP, but I just find Wrapped just sounds better, even though it's not called Wrapped. His roots ain't that great. Oh, that's a shame. London Buses 1, hello. Good to see you again, sir. All is well with me, all is well with me. Hope all is well with you. Oh, they're losing a couple of routes. Oh yeah, you always call it as well, Phantom, yeah. It just sounds better, Wrapped. It's easier to say than RATP all the time. But yeah, I mean, going to other garages... Do I have investments in stocks and things? No. No, I don't. I don't know where Route 9 is going to, I'm afraid. I'm sure it'll be somewhere. Is it going Metroline? Metroline's a big player. They're still a big player. I don't agree with a lot of what Metroline has done to their drivers, but that's politics for you. That's my unionism coming out there. Definitely my trade union talk coming out there. Not a big fan of the way they've been treating them with remote sign-on and things like that. It's not good. Not good for the industry at all. If it comes in, it's not a good thing. Ugh. They made that lame Nongle now, yeah. I'm sure they have, yeah. I don't actually know what it is now, to be honest. I've not been... Yeah, that was it, yeah. Transit London, yeah. I thought bus drivers were at war. I keep on hearing about remote sign. Do you think they'll do it with Go Ahead on Stagecoach? I can't see it happening. Definitely not. I mean, I'm hoping Go Ahead is a very union strong workplace, because it shouldn't happen. Remote silence should not happen, and we're losing money at the end of the day. And it's not fair. It's not fair at all. Stagecoach, ugh, that's a different story. Stagecoach, in my opinion. A lot of the time, no, I won't say anything actually. I know I've left, but best not. I like the 94. I actually don't know where that goes. I don't actually know where that goes. See, I'm very much a. If you talk to me about southeast routes, yeah, I can tell you anything about it. But central London routes, yeah, it's still a mystery to me. It's central London routes. I don't know, cause I've never driven in central London before. You know, I mean the closest I am to anywhere in central London that I've driven is the 177s really, and that's not really central London. Obviously, it's nowhere near, but that's the closest I've gotten to that kind of area. Because I never did the 53s, never went to Elephant and Castle. I have enough trouble with cyclists and things down in southeast, and then you want me to go to Elephant and Castle. Cyclists are worse up there. Am I still driving? I will be back driving on the 27th of March. All company want to make money. Yeah, I mean, that is a business at the end of the day, but companies I think, need to find a balance between profit and safety, and protecting drivers. Because without us, they're not making any money. Did you get any buses into Stratford? No, I did not. The only time I drove in that kind of area was when I was training. At the time, Stagecoach did their training at Catford, and they did their training at Catford, so we did go into Stratford a few times, and East London, just to practice, because I had my test in East London. I didn't do my test in South East London, like Bromley area and things like that. I did it in East London and West Ham. You know the rotas, is it usually 6 to 7 working days? Yes, it is. It is normally 6 to 7 days in a row, and then you have 2 days off. But it does depend on the rota. Some rotas are different, so some rotas you could do. Some rotas, you probably heard Mike talk about this as well when he was on the 314. You have your long weekend. So every other month, some rotas do this. It's every other month for some rotas. You'd have your long weekend, so your Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The week after, you'd have Saturday, Sunday. And then the week after that, you'd have Sunday, Monday. But it's for some rotas only. It depends on the route and everything like that. What do I know about the 47? I know it goes to... oh, God. It goes into London. I should know the 47s. It's not... oh, I can't think of it now. I know it goes, to the garage, from the garage to... I can't think of the name of it. I have to look it up. It's literally... it was on the tip of my tongue then, and I've forgotten where it goes. That was it, Shoreditch. Yes, Shoreditch. I had the S. I just couldn't remember the Auditch part. More vlogs coming soon? Yeah, maybe. I need to really talk to management about what I'm allowed to do, because obviously I don't want to get on their bad side. 6 days on, 2 days off, long weekend. Yes, most standard rotas. So it would be my long weekend, then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then my long weekend again, and so on. The 96 did it at Stagecoach. They have every other month they'd have their long weekend, then Saturday, Sunday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. I wasn't on spares for very long. I was not on spares for very long. They pretty much put me on the 177s very early on, so I wasn't a spare driver for very long at all. I just did 177s religiously, unfortunately. I've seen a lot of stuff in my time on the 177s, believe you me. I've had a lot of incidents on the 177, a lot of accidents on the 177. It's a dangerous route if you're not paying attention. I've had a few scrapes on the 177s before. I think I've had one. I think I've had 3 incidents on the 177s in terms of accidents. So it was not good. Was not good. The problem was you'd always have Volvos, and the back end is a lot longer. The overhang's a lot longer than the normal Enviros, so it was a little bit annoying. Being spare or on a route? On a route, I prefer being on a route because the benefit of being on a rotor is you can see your entire year. All 365 days you can see what you are working, what shift you're doing, when your time off is. It's a lot easier to plan your life, so I did prefer that a lot to being spare, because you'd only really know what you're doing at a week at a time, and it is hard to plan your life around it. So if you want to go out with your friends, not really going to know till like that week what you're doing. Whereas on a rotor, you can see the whole year. So you can plan holidays, you can plan, I don't know, birthday parties, whatever. You know what you're doing, and you've got time to get things switched around with other drivers or move your rest days around. Yeah, a lot of drivers like spares. A lot of drivers like spares. It's a lot more variety. I mean, take Anton. Anton likes swapping duties around, doesn't he? He likes swapping duties so he's not on the same route every day. And that's fair enough. If that's what you prefer, you have the right to do that. Because what you got to remember is the company doesn't care. As long as the duties are covered, the company are fine with it. So that's all that matters. One thing that will be different, very different, at Go Ahead is how they do their pre-inspection checks. They use a system called Transura, which is a digital system, and Stagecoach still uses paper. So that's going to be very different to the way I used to do things. So it'll be interesting to get used to that system. What I hear, it's a good system. It's a very good system to use. It's a lot more easier to report things like defects and things like that. From what I hear, obviously, when I go to garage, it'll definitely be interesting to see how the system works. Because I know you have to spend a certain amount of time checking the bus every morning. Obviously, you should be spending a certain amount of time, but do 5 routes most of the time. I'm never doing the same route 2 days in a row. Yeah, I mean that's fair enough. If that's what you like, then that's great. It's great that you're doing something that you like. If you want to have that variety, you're entitled to that variety 100%. I'm not. I mean, I did. I mean, I enjoyed just doing the same duty just because it's just that consistency for me. You know, so I know I can eventually like memorize the timing points and things like that off by heart. I can just know the duty inside out. It's just the way I prefer, But that's the beauty of bus driving, is that every driver is different. Every driver likes to do things differently. Every driver likes different shift patterns, and that's it's just the way drivers are, you know. But keep the questions coming in, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have, whether it be buses or anything else. I'm an open book. If you've got something you want to ask, feel free to ask. I don't mind answering any questions you have. Right. Let's have a little look here. I've been in a bad accident. I've never written off a bus, which is always good. But I have scraped a few cars here and there. Nothing bad, but it's always annoying. It's always annoying when you have an accident. Um, yeah, I don't. I mean, accidents are part of the job, as you know. It's just the way it is. You get idiots. Um, so yeah, it is hard having an accident. It's hard on your mental health because you're a qualified driver. You can drive, and yet you still have an accident. And they're very strict, obviously, as you know, with accidents and making sure that we don't have any. It's hard when management aren't on your side to see that you didn't mean to have an accident, and you apologise for it, but they've got a job to do at the end of the day. Rail replacement. I'd love to give rail replacement a go. I don't see why. Well, I don't see why not. I think it'll be interesting to do. Definitely interesting to do. I suppose. Actually, no. I do remember a bad accident. Actually, tell a lie. I have had someone collide with my bus, being a pedestrian. And this was when I was going through uh, the retail park in Charlton on the 161s, so going past the M&S and things like that. So on that side of Anchor and Hope, Woolwich Road. Yeah, so he wasn't looking, and I'm driving past, and he's gone to step out, and he's hit his head on the windscreen, and it's cracked the windscreen. He's okay. The guy was okay. I think he was just a bit winded and a bit shocked. But that's a testament to the idiots that we have to put up with on a daily basis. He's stepping out before he's even looked to see if it's okay. And he's hit my bus. Won the last couple of years. Hats off to you, sir. My goal is to not have a blameworthy accident within my first year at Go Ahead. That's my main goal, because I did have a blameworthy accident in my first year at Stagecoach. Which obviously is just it's heartbreaking when that happens, because you're on probation, things like that. It can really affect your performance score and things like that, because it's all about numbers, as you know. Yeah, I think I had 2 blameworthy accidents in my first year. So my goal is to get no blameworthy accidents in my first year. Obviously, any other accident that isn't my fault, that's fine, because it's not my fault, so I'm not going to get in trouble for it at the end of the day. Obviously, they'll always find something, but as long as it's not my fault, it's okay. But I don't want any blameworthy accidents in my first year, because obviously it affects my job. It can mean that I could lose my job. So obviously I don't want that to happen. Yeah, people always expect us to stop for them. People always do. I always, especially like if at a bus stop, people just expect you to stop, even though there might be 6 or 7 bus routes that serve that particular bus stop, and you don't know if they want your bus. At the end of the day, if a 5-year-old can put their hand out for a bus, so can a full-grown adult, in my opinion. It's not difficult. Like I said, if a 5-year-old can do it, a grown man can do it, or a grown woman can do it. So it does get frustrating. I get it if I was the only bus route that served that particular bus stop, that's fair enough. I'll stop, no problem. But when you have multiple bus routes that serve that bus stop, it helps the driver if you put your arm out to let them know that they want you. They are glued to their phones, yeah. As people, it does make me laugh. I'm driving past and I see in the mirror, and they look up and they go, "Oh, I wanted that bus." It's hilarious. It's hilarious in my opinion. It is hilarious. I do think though, I would like to go to Orpington Garage at some point, check out the 358s and their new buses. I'd love to give them a try. The tram buses, be interesting. Obviously they got the pantograph set up just like we have at Bexley Heath. So you got the pantographs at Crystal Palace and Orpington Station. So be interesting. Definitely be an interesting drive, those things. Oh, you're at, yeah, Abellio. Mm. Yeah, I don't know too much about Abellio. It's not from my area. My area, it's just Stagecoach, Go Ahead, and Arriva. Got Arriva in Dartford, Go Ahead in Bexley Heath and Orpington, and Plumstead Stagecoach. So they're my the 3 companies that work around me. I've thought about Arriva before, because my dad works there, but it's just it all comes down to pay and conditions really. Pay's not where I would like it to be, considering what I'm going to be getting paid. Yeah, 119353. Yeah, I knew about that too. Yeah, everything's going electric these days, isn't it? It's the way forward. Zero emissions. I think was it zero emissions by 2030? I think, or was it? Yeah, I think 2030. Um, like I do enjoy driving the electric buses. I do have my concerns with them. I just find that the steering is rock hard. Like the steering, you do have to put a lot of effort into steering. Like you really do have to swing it round. There's a lot of weight to the steering, but I'm hoping that comes easier over time because obviously these buses are still very new. I mean, they're 70, 71 plate buses, so they're still very new. Even though a lot of them have been written off already by a lot of bus garages. Seen a lot of accidents with the electric buses. Seen a lot of photographs. I do get sent a lot of photographs by drivers telling me about accidents with buses. I mean, Plumstead had an accident not too long ago on Wellhall Road, if you remember. That was one of our buses from Plumstead. That's a complete write-off. Still see the damage to the tree to this day. It's a scary thought of like how that accident happened. I don't know how it happened. I don't really want to know how it happened because it just looks like something you want to forget about. It's a scary accident by the looks of it. I've seen the pictures of it. Ugh. Yeah, guys, keep the questions coming in. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. We need a good catch up at the end of the day. We need a very good catch up. North Greenwich a couple of weeks ago. Okay, interesting. That's very interesting. I didn't know anything about that. Hope the driver and the passengers are okay. It was in the morning. Yeah, I mean, I had in the end of January. This was one of the worst days I've had. So I'm doing. I think it was duty 456 actually. So I was second driver finishing for the day. But this was I just BCR my bus. I ran light to Chislehurst to start my first trip. I then get to Eltham and I take the mirror out on the bus stop. First trip of the day, and I take the mirror out on the bus stop. It's one of the most annoying things ever. That's the first time I've fully taken off a mirror before. I've had collisions with a mirror with that mirror before, but I've only popped the glass out of the frame. I haven't taken the whole arm off. Like the whole arm of the mirror came off, so the whole thing came off. So I mean, I mean, when I was on a 177, I clipped the mirror going around a Tesco's lorry. He was unloading. The whole arm was fine. It's just one of the glass, like the top glass in the mirror, popped out um, of the frame, and it smashed. So I still had the blind spot mirror at the bottom, like the blind spot glass at the bottom, just the top one that was broken. But this was the first time I took the whole arm off the mirror. Hopefully, you drive some mirrorless buses. Yeah, the 132s. The 132s are Bexley and mirrorless. Sometimes you do see the odd normal diesel bus on there, but it's very rare. They're pretty much fully electric now. Sometimes you do, like I said, sometimes you do see a right-bodied Volvo or an Enviro on there. The old buses are the best though, because you actually hear the engine working and doing something, whereas electric buses is just silence, and that's good from a noise pollution perspective and things like that, an environment perspective, but I do like to hear my engine work. The shortest duty I've ever done, it was on the 96. It was 5 o'clock in the morning to around 11:15 in the morning. It's what we call a straight through job, which means you don't have a break. So it was that short that you don't get a break. So that's the shortest duty I've done. You know, so pretty much 4 or 5 hours. 4 or 5 hour duty. It's good for the old drivers because obviously they're not on sign off, but for me it's not good for money, you know, because I don't get paid a lot. Diesel buses have personality. Yeah, they do. They do have personality, but yeah, it's all about the environment nowadays. Decent thing about rail placement, evening work, if you do it, is the duties are short but high paid and no fares to take. Yeah, exactly. You know, rail replacement is definitely something I can definitely look into with Go Ahead. There's a lot more. I just find there's a lot more opportunities at the moment. There's a lot more opportunities. But yeah, diesel buses, man. I mean, I love hearing the engine of the Enviro. I mean, my favourite, probably one of my favourite sounding engines from when I was growing up was definitely the ALX 400s on the 269s. Oh, the ALXs were great buses. I'm gutted I just missed out on being able to drive those buses because I would have loved to have driven one. But their engines are the beautiful engines. I love the sound of those engines. I love those buses so much. They are definitely my favourite buses. In terms of the buses I've driven, it would have to be the classic Enviro 400s, the Enviro 400 diesels, not the hybrids. Hybrids are good, but I prefer the diesel versions. Um, then it'd probably be a Scania, definitely a Scania. I love the Scanias. Then the Enviro 400 MMCs, Enviro 400 hybrids, and then the Volvos. The Volvos are the worst things I've ever driven in my life. They are terrible buses to drive. It's just terrible. I don't know why Stagecoach opted to get those buses. Terrible things. The Scanias are 2009 plates, and they drive so much better. And the Volvos are 15 plates. It's just ridiculous. Hey, you saw me in Woolwich? You should come and say hi. Yeah, the ALX 400s were powerful buses. They really are powerful buses. It's a shame that they're no longer in London. I'd love to have seen them. We still actually have, at Plumstead, they still actually have a Routemaster there, one of the original Routemasters. We still have one of them. Yeah, there's still a lot of old diesels on the 51s. Yeah, a lot of them still have like, what was it, like the purple seating and things like that. The very old Go Ahead liveries, which are really nice. I do like the purple. The purple, it does look nice on the seats. It's a good combination of colours. I do like them. Yeah, I've not driven one of those. I've not driven like an '08 plate since training days with the old dashboards. Ready to go over first, Orpington, yeah. Well, next at work, I'll be going to Go Ahead on the 27th of March, so I'm not at Stagecoach anymore. So I'll be going to Go Ahead London. Yeah, they are nice buses. The purple seating ones, I do like them. They do like the engine sounds really good on those ones as well. Actually, I've only been on I think one or two of them, but the engine does sound really cool on those ones. So I'm looking forward to that. I am looking forward to that indeed. How long are we going for? We'll be going for 1 hour 20 minutes. Jeez, we've been ranting on for a long time now, ladies and gents. I think we'll go for another 10 minutes or so and then we'll call it, because an hour and a half, you're probably bored of me now. But yeah, the main story is I am looking to come back to videos. It's once I've spoken to management about what I can do, what I can't do. Yeah. Ooh, talk about that later. Okay, yes, so, what bus route are you doing at Go Ahead? I don't know yet. I don't know. I do not know what bus route I'll be doing yet, unfortunately. I've got to wait for, gotta wait for them to tell me what I'm going to be doing. It will be between the 132, 486, or the, 51s, I would have thought. Which is fine by me. How come the issue start making videos under Stagecoach? Yeah, burnout. A lot of it was burnout, to be honest. Just wasn't fun. It's just because I ended up talking about the same things over and over again. It just wasn't really something I was enjoying. It's hard to find topics to talk about. That's the honest answer, really. It's the honest answer I can give you. Let's do that. There we go, done that. Sorry guys, I'll be just 1 second. Just doing something here. Okay. Yeah, it was just burnout really. MJ. It's just, yeah, it's just boring. It got boring after a while, and it's just when you talk about the same things over and over again. Your ears help me with the career. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Phantom. I'm glad to hear that. Would you ever want to work at Modern Wharf? I would only go to do the 286. For me, 286 is the only route I want to do. I know a lot of you are going to go, well, what about the 108s? And yes, I would do the 108s just to drive the Mercs. Just to drive the Mercs, I'll do the 108s. But I don't think they'd let me on the 108s. 244 is a good route. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I don't think I've ever, as a passenger, I don't think I've ever been on the 244s. So then you have your break away from the garage, but you do get a ferry car back to the garage. So that's always good. Yeah, I knew a lot of people say the 108s are amazing. I knew a lot of people would say that. I see so many people talk about the Mercs and how amazing they are to drive. Apparently they have really good aircon. I'd love to have that. What else we got? If there's a London bus you haven't driven, with the current buses that are out there, a right-bodied Volvo. I think that's it, isn't it? I think that's it. Oh, the Mercs, obviously. Mercs. I'm trying to think of any other buses I've not driven. The Boris buses. I've not driven a Boris bus before. Might get chance to drive the last remaining Mercs on 358 if you get to Golden. Yeah, obviously they're being phased out soon. Route 1. Yeah, that's yeah, Canada Water, isn't it? I think that's Canada Water. Yeah, the 108 goes through the Blackwall Tunnel, MJ. Yeah, there's always a broken down vehicle in there. A lot of the times, it's always frustrating because they normally have they always have problems. They always end up curtailing to North Greenwich. It's always annoying. Yeah, what's it? I know that route. I know it's Canada Water. New Oxford Street, that's it, yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad route, and that's, yeah, Waterloo, Elephant and Castle. I mean, I suppose as well, I wouldn't mind doing the 386 as well from Modern Warfare. Oh, you? Hello, Lee and Ashley's channel. How are you? Snowy Stoke-on-Trent. Ah, yeah, we had snow yesterday down there. Do I watch the footy? Yes, I do. Unfortunately, I support Chelsea, which are doing absolutely terrible right now. But we did beat Dortmund in the Champions League, so it's the only positive thing about Chelsea at the moment. So I can't complain about that. Um, yeah, I suppose yeah, the 386 as well. Where have I been? Just I've not been enjoying. I kind of got burnt out from YouTube, and I fell out with Stagecoach, so I no longer work for them. So just not been posting. Hate the most after Spurs? Yeah, I mean, who doesn't hate Spurs? Spurs are absolutely shocking, mate. Absolutely shocking. Do I have a girlfriend? Keep that one a bit personal. I'm gonna keep that personal. Nothing against you. It's just that's personal stuff. How long did we go for? Yeah, I think we'll end it there. We've been talking for about an hour and a half now. Um, but yeah, I mean, I do want to get back into videos. We'll see how it goes. Go ahead and we'll go from there. I'll speak to management about it and see what I can get away with. I'll see. I won't be able to post for a while because I'll have a mentor on the bus and things like that, and obviously they probably wouldn't want to be filmed anyways. Um, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little catch up. Lucy does support Watford, yeah. Definitely not. But now Roman Abramovich is gone, hopefully we're not going to keep sacking managers. But then again, his method did work. But yeah, I'll end it there, guys. We've been ranting on. I've been ranting on for too long now. You're probably getting bored. Yeah, I'm sure they will allow me to make content. Just won't be able to show logos, but we'll see. But yeah, I'll end it there, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Hopefully, I'll see you in the near future. So take care, and hopefully, I'll see you at Bexley Heath.